everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today I'm going to be doing the Books of Alfred Hitchcock tag. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's video is another booktube tag video. And this one is the Books of Alfred Hitchcock tag, which was created by Berna over at Berna's Bookish Adventures, and Berna tagged me in this as well. I absolutely love Berna's channel and we've been buddy reading together lately, and we have a lot of genres in common that we like to read, particularly mysteries. Berna's created this tag because it is to celebrate 100 years of Alfred Hitchcock. We have 8 questions today and they're all taken from titles of Hitchcock films. So the first question is called The Pleasure Garden, a 1926 silent movie about 2 girls, 1 musician and 1 dancer. And the prompt is talk about a book featuring a musician/dancer. So, like Berna, I couldn't think of many books that I've read that are about musicians or dancers, but I had a bit more of a think and I came up with Complicit by Nikki French. Couldn't find my copy of this anywhere, but I will show it up here somewhere. And this is a book by the husband and wife writing team Nikki French, who I've spoken about before on my channel. And this one opens with a group of people getting rid of a body, and it takes interesting twists and turns from there. But this book centres around a music teacher called Bonnie, and Bonnie has got together a band to practice for a wedding, and that's what they've been doing all summer. So there is quite a bit about this band. They are the main characters in the book, so it is about musicians, just about. Question number 2 is about The 39 Steps. The 39 Steps is a 1935 film that is full of action. Berna would like us to talk about a book featuring non-stop action. Now, I've actually picked a book here that I recently buddy read with Berna, Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I think Berna would agree with me that this book was pretty much non-stop action. You're into it straight away in chapter 1 with a very unexpected violent event that catapults the characters into an all-action plot. I was going to pick something like Jack Reacher, but I've spoken about that a lot lately, so I thought I would talk about something different. So I read this in January and February, and it is definitely a thriller that is very fast-paced, and it follows a mother and daughter, Andy Oliver, who's the daughter, and her mother Laura Oliver, and there's also a backstory featuring a character called Jane. This has recently been made into a series for Netflix starring Toni Collette. Shortly I will be putting out a video comparing this source material with the Netflix series Pieces of Her. To be honest, they're not very closely similar, but we'll get to that in another video. So question 3 is Rebecca. Rebecca is one of my favourite Alfred Hitchcock films. It is a 1940 film about a woman who is the second Mrs. DeWinters, based on Daphne du Maurier's book of the same name. So for this one, let's talk about a book featuring a second or third marriage. And I've cheated a bit here because this does feature a second marriage. I couldn't think of another book, and I've read this really recently as well. And I've picked Wolf Hall, which features one of the most famous second marriages in history, the marriage of Henry VIII to Anne Boleyn. And we all know he's also going to have a third marriage, probably in the next book, but I'm reading that one this month hopefully, or next month. A very, very famous second marriage. That's what I've picked. Prompt number 4 is Strangers on a Train. Strangers on a Train is a 1951 film featuring characters with questionable morals. I think this one is based on a novel by Patricia Highsmith. For this prompt we needed to pick a book featuring a character with shady morals. Now I've gone with a very, very shady moral character, and I've gone with one of my favourite series of books, which is the books about Dexter. And this is the first one, Darkly Dreaming Dexter. And the tagline here is "A serial killer with a heart. Be grateful it's not yours." And these books are by Jeff Lindsay. They were made famously into a television series, but they are about Dexter Morgan, who appears to be a perfect gentleman. He leads a nice, quiet life working as a forensic officer for Miami police. He has a girlfriend and is friendly to her children. But Dexter's secret hobby is that he is a serial killer. And Dexter does have a moral code. His moral code is that he kills people, only people who are really, really bad people and are sort of beyond justice. People who won't be got hold of by the justice system, basically. That is not to say that Dexter is a good person, because he's very, very likeable, but he is a murderer. And he definitely, therefore, has very questionable morals. I've got the whole Dexter series here on the shelf behind me. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this series. Rear Window is a 1954 film with a character who is temporarily wheelchair bound. And for this one, Berna has asked us to find a book featuring a character with disability. I've chosen another series of books. This is a series of books by C.J. Sampson, and this is the first book in that series called Dissolution. And these are called the Shardlake series, and they're named after the investigator in these. These are set in Tudor times, and this one's called Dissolution because it's set around the time of the dissolution of the monasteries, and Shardlake is caught up in that, but he's an investigator and he's investigating a murder that's happened. I've also read the third book, Sovereign, but I haven't yet read the rest of the series. So yes, but Shardlake himself, who is a lawyer, he has a very noticeable disfigurement. He has a hunchback, and he is a very, very interesting character to read about and highly underestimated by some of the people around him. The next prompt is Vertigo. Vertigo is a 1958 film with a character that goes through a makeover. Let's talk about a book featuring a character who undergoes a makeover or a physical change. I've gone with Killing Eve, codename Villanelle by Luke Jennings. This is the first book in the Killing Eve series, which the TV series was based on. And it's quite a short book. It's kind of a novella, I would say, and it introduces us to Eve and to her nemesis, Villanelle, who is basically a perfect assassin. She's an orphan saved from a death penalty and has been ruthlessly trained and given a new life with new names and new faces, and she is whatever fits for the job that she's doing. Villanelle is a character who has a lot of different faces and a lot of different changes of appearance, so I've chosen her. And Eve in the title Killing Eve is Eve Pilastri, who is an investigator on the trail of this assassin. Number 7, Psycho. Psycho is an excellent film by Hitchcock. This is a 1960 film with a dominant mother. Verna has asked us to talk about a book featuring a toxic parent. I've also gone with a really dominating mother in my choice, and I've gone with Carrie by Stephen King. So Carrie is a teenager in high school, and this is a very famous horror book and Stephen King's first novel. Carrie White has the gift of telekinesis. I believe her mother is extremely overprotective, and she's definitely a very dominating mother in the style of the mother from Psycho. And what triggers Carrie is not just what is going on for her at school and growing up, but her mother as well. So I've picked that one. And the final prompt number 8, is named after my favourite Hitchcock film of all time. I do love a good Hitchcock film, and this is my top favourite, and I find it terrifying, but I'm also hugely drawn to it and have watched it multiple times, and that is The Birds. The Birds is a 1963 film in which birds get violent without any apparent reason, and I love this film. I'm hoping to read very soon the short story by Daphne du Maurier that it was based on, but yeah, the idea of this, of birds suddenly becoming violent, is terrifying to me. And there's a scene in it with a climbing frame in the background where crows start to sort of one by one sit on this climbing frame, building up in the background, and the suspense and tension in this scene and in this film as a whole is just typical Hitchcock and just so well done and so creepy. But anyway, I'm not supposed to be talking about the film. I'm supposed to be talking about a book featuring an unexplained phenomenon. I don't really know if I've got the right idea for this question, but I have gone with the book Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion, which I have never talked about on this channel before. And this is a book about zombies. So I'm thinking zombies are a kind of unexplained phenomenon. And I'll read you a bit of the blurb for this one because R, as in the letter R, is a zombie. He has no name, no memories and no pulse, but he has dreams. He's a little different from his fellow dead. So I thought, there's an unexplained phenomenon. R the zombie is different to other zombies. So not only are zombies unexplained, but R is unexplained. Amongst the ruins of an abandoned city, R meets a girl. Her name is Julie, and she's the opposite of everything he knows. Warm and bright and very much alive, she is a blast of colour in a dreary grey landscape. For reasons he can't understand, R chooses to save Julie instead of eating her, and a tense yet strangely tender relationship begins. This has never happened before. It breaks the rules and defies logic, but R is no longer content with life in the grave. He wants to breathe again, he wants to live, and Julie wants to help him. But their grim, rotting world won't be changed without a fight. I love this book. I enjoy zombie post-apocalyptic type books. This one was no exception. This one was made so much more interesting by R being a zombie who kind of has feelings. He's a really interesting main character too. So that brings us to the end of the Books of Alfred Hitchcock tag. Thank you, Berna, for tagging me in this. It's a great tag and I hope some more people will do this one. I'm going to tag Gem of Books, Jennifer Loves Books, Becky at Teacup the Storyteller, and I'm also going to tag Elizabeth at Bookhounds and Books and Mitzi at Mitzi Reads and Writes. I don't think they've done this tag and I would love to see their answers to it. And thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please do give it a like. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please do let me know in the comments what books you would have picked, especially for the unexplained phenomenon question, because I find that very interesting. Also, what is your favourite film by Alfred Hitchcock? That's all from me today. I hope to see you again soon in another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.